No, but I mean, I want to ask the women here, what is the patriarchy?
Yeah.
I was actually about to ask them too the same thing, or if you have a contribution.
Well,
to that as well.
you've asserted that it
Yeah.
exists, so the burden is on you to articulate what precisely.
But he said it exists too.
I didn't say that.
I can articulate how I see patriarchy,
Okay.
but Brian's asking you guys, what is it?
I mean, if you're asking my own view, I don't think there's a patriarchy because I think we live in a gynocentric society. But what's your?
I think the patriarchy. So from the beginning.
Can you talk straight into the mic, please?
Yeah. Okay, so we were always raised with our parents and our grandparents, and the advice that I was given through my mother and the advice that I was given through my male family members.
Hold on.
Modest Hikima donated $200. Brixon, thanks for saving me the time, money and brain cells by raising the TTS. Chase gonna be headbutt that mic all night long. Madison, welcome back.
Real.
Girl 1,3, read a book please. At whatever shorts too.
Yo, Jacama, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you not think that like
you're saying your parents, your grandparents?
How present was it
Speak
with
into
like?
your mic, please.
Yeah, so when you are raised traditionally, you're raised by your father and your mother, and your father does the certain tasks, and your mothers do the certain tasks. So patriarchy is also like kind of aligned with like traditionalism, and you guys like traditionalism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ever saying specifically I hate the patriarchy. I'm saying that there's things that get to a certain point where it's not about protecting women and it's not about the protection of everybody. It's about making your power the most in the room.
Gotcha.
But so what is the patriarchy?
Is being primarily raised by a father or a father figure
So you're
in
saying,
this society.
You're saying patriarchal traditions within the family are the patriarchy societally? Because what I heard you say is there's patriarchal tradition within families, but there's also men in society. It sounds like you're saying that exploit women.
Families are in society.
Okay.
Here, go ahead. What is the patriarchy?
I think it's less about like who's on top of our society. Well, I mean, you can see that there is a patriarchy with it, or in how our government works. There's a lot of men on the top, you know, CEOs and politicians and stuff like that. But more intrinsically, I believe that it's has to do with the social values that we hold. You know, like she said, within our families, but more of like within our day-to-day actions, within the way that we as women and even you as men can go about things. So like, I think it's more about social values and social occurrences. So one thing with how the patriarchy affects men, for example, is men's ability to express their feelings. So it's often said that men cannot thoroughly express their feelings or do not feel safe to express their feelings because it's viewed as like feminine or...
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200. I am patriarch. I protect and value my wife and children. They sleep under the blanket of protection I provide, the leader of the family, the bedrock upon all that is built. You should be as fortunate.
Yeah, thank you, Grid
Very
1.
based.
So you were saying that
Men can't express their feelings because of the patriarchy.
Yes,
I would
be
actually
a patriarchal value, I think.
I would
told
actually
that they're
argue
not
that's
supposed
something
to.
that women enforce on men, not that other men enforce on other men.
I don't know. Most women that I've encountered have been not really caring or like pretty neutral, and if not
really caring about men.
No, about men
Male
contributing their
emotions.
feelings. So like neutral about, I guess, okay, not negative. They're more positive and accepting of it from the women that I've met. Now, I do understand that there are women that are not accepting of men's feelings. If that does that?
Well,
is that coming
I'm
across?
sort
I
of
don't
more
know a
so
lot
talking
of
about
them.
vulnerability, and typically when men display vulnerability in a romantic and dating context, that's typically punished by potential romantic partners.
Yes,
It is.
very much so. Absolutely.
Potential romantic partners or a
feel like-
romantic partner.
Both.
In your
I
opinion-
would
in your
argue,
opinion,
there's a very big
ladies.
difference. There's a very big
I would
difference.
argue, as far as potential romantic partners go, I mean, women. If a guy wants a girl and he's showing weakness early on in the relationship, or like maybe is too deep in his feelings and negative emotions. I've heard it from many girls, gives them the ick real fast,
Okay,
makes them
yeah.
unattracted. But what I would also say is if a man has an established romantic relationship with a woman and she really respects him and is very attracted to him, that gives the man room to open up and be vulnerable with like weakness or those like,
yeah, so maybe
like if-
there's just certain times and places where people should be vulnerable. Like, I'm not going to come up here and then cry to you about my problems and expect you to be
Well, it's less about-
empathetic with me because
it's-
we don't know each other like that.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's
Yeah.
less about that there's certain times and places to be vulnerable, and it's
Yeah, that's the
hold
thing.
on. It's to Brian's point that she's saying that men not expressing their emotions is because of patriarchal structures disincentivizing men from expressing their emotions. But the reality is, if I take a girl out on a date and I start crying about something in the beginning of the date, there's like a 75 to 90% chance it's going to give the girl the ick, which is to Brian's point that this is something that's often regulated by females.
Wouldn't that
Wouldn't that
but
turn
I'm
you
not
off
sitting
too
here-
if a girl
What?
cried on a first date?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it
It would be
depends.
more
It depends.
socially
That's like a
it would be
very
more socially
skewed
acceptable, and it
way of,
depends.
like,
It wouldn't be.
saying
Yes,
that.
It would be.
yes, it absolutely would.
Yeah.
There's no question.
No question.
Like,
Yeah. Like if you go to a party and
feel
there's
like
a
we're
girl
living in,
crying
like,
the
different
corner,
reality
you're kind of
fields.
like, oh, poor
Wait.
girl. If the guy's doing it, you're like, what the hell?
In
Yeah.
any case, to keep it moving on,
I mean, that-
did you want
would you
to,
say
That's
what
not
the
what I
hell?
think.
Like I was
ladies,
crying?
ladies,
Stop.
ladies,
Not what I
That's
ladies.
really like that's you.
Yo,
Azure,
Yo,
Azure.
Okay,
stop.
well, most people
We asked
probably
you
do.
earlier before the show began. Please respect the show's rules. You keep violating them. Let's have a civil discussion with one person.
Did
talking.
you want to add anything to your sense of what the patriarchy is?
I think that was a pretty solid example
Okay.
of what the patriarchy does in our society.
What about you?
Well, you asked for the definition, correct?
Your
Sure.
definition?
Yeah.
Or my definition. So in my opinion, it's the hierarchy of males in American society, politically and
Sociologically.
Or, yeah, sociologically. Societally, yes.
Okay.
The roles of, is there more to that
So it's
sentence?
just that men are throughout the hierarchy and
Yes,
they're
there's a hierarchy with that's my definition.
And men, so are you saying men occupy the top positions of power, both
most-
politically, in corporations, etc.?
Yes.
Okay. Perhaps societally too. Okay, what about you? I think you said that you believe there's a patriarchy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, a patriarchy is definitely defined by, the predominant male leadership roles in a society, right?
Okay.
And, I think it's pretty true that, throughout our society, women had the inability to vote, for example, right? Women had the inability to
Over
even...
100 years ago, but
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if the inability to vote is evidence of a current patriarchy, but
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, like throughout our society, right? That's definitely kind of been a factor, right? And I think we're off
so
a
you're
lot-
talking historically.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, we are off a lot better now. I think there are still, some political roles, some roles in, bigger companies and everything like that, where you can still see male dominated roles. But I feel like as a society, we are becoming a lot more equal, but I think there are still some leftovers.
Okay, sure. And then lastly with you, and then I have a follow-up. Go ahead.
Yes, I did think there was a patriarchy.
Sure.
What is it?
I think it's a male-dominated world, but I also think men will continue to lead. But like she said earlier, there could be the outlier of women, but in my opinion, I just feel like it's a
Okay.
male-dominated. thing.
So question for you, for those of you who believe in the patriarchy, under patriarchy, are women oppressed?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Not in every way, but yeah.
I think the patriarchy is a tool for oppression.
Okay.
The oppression is a very hard word, but yes, there is a lot of under patriarchy, women are essentially oppressed. Yeah, but that's a very heavy word to just. It's a trigger word or whatever.
I think honestly currently now there is like a huge step up for women where women are given the opportunities for better education, roles into bigger companies, everything like that. And I think, there is still, points of like where, men might look at women as, like not being able to lead and everything like that. And I think there are still those stereotypes present, but I think women are getting to the point where they're able too.
I think I would agree with what she said. I don't think we're fully oppressed, but it's being worked on.
Okay. Under patriarchy, are men oppressors?
Not all of them, I guess.
But, okay, some of them.
I think it is a tool that can be used by both men and women, and it affects both men and women.
So there are women that use the patriarchy to oppress both men and
It's
women?
less about using consciously, but it's, like I said, it's very socially ingrained. So, like, in a lot of our actions and even the things that we say, like the way that we use words, it can be very subtle, and then it can be very extreme as well.
What would an example be of a woman who utilizes the patriarchy in order to oppress somebody?
It would be kind of like the example that I provided earlier, where you guys were talking about how women will shame men for being vulnerable. Women are using the patriarchal structure, the patriarchal standards that have been created. I don't know if there was a specific person that coined that.
Yeah, but why would that be oppression? Why would that fall under the oppression category?
It is very emotionally damaging for men to not feel like they can talk about their feelings. Right?
Okay, hold on. Under patriarchy, are men oppressors?
I don't like using the oppressive, like, I don't like that debate.
Well, if you said women can be oppressed, so
yes.
Okay.
So
can,
and I can't find a lighter word than oppression, but yes.
Okay. What about you?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the entire terminology kind of bases like off of society as a whole. So I think it's just,
Okay.